Oh no, I got lipstick all over my shirt. Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day and that your holiday preparations are coming along smoothly and, as little stress as possible. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys another Christmas craft tutorial. This is what I'm going to be showing you how to make today. So my idea behind this is that it's something that you would send out to family and friends rather than sending out your usual family Christmas card. So what it is just a picture of your family, and you can do variations of this, but you have a picture of your family here, and then down here it's going to say some sort of holiday message to whoever you're sending it to, and then whenever they get it, they can also hang it on their tree. So it's really nice and it's really neat. And what I've used for this is actually just some aluminum can lids, like soup can lids, and I've been saving these for a long time, as you can see, so I'm glad to be able to finally get to show you guys something where I can use these. So let's get started on that. Alright, so first what we're going to need is our can lids. I've got several different sizes here. You can get them big, small, medium size. Most of mine are from tops of just soup cans, but you can also use the tops of juice cans. And I have two different colors, but I'm going to go with the one that's a little bit more on the gold side. It doesn't really matter, but for the colors that I've chosen for my ornament, I'm going to use the one that's a little more gold. So you're going to need your ruler, and what you're going to need to do is measure the diameter of your can lid. So measure from one side to the other through the center. So mine looks like it's about 3 1/4 inch. And then once I've got that measured, I'm going to need my compass. If you have a circle cutter, then you're going to be much better off. I don't, so I'm going to use my compass to draw the circles the size I need, and then I will cut them out once I've got them drawn. And so I need to set my compass to be half. So there we go. I've used my ruler to measure out half of my circle so that when I draw my circle, it's going to fit exactly inside of my can lid. So I'm using a red paper for mine. You can use whatever color you choose, but I'm using red and gold for mine. So I've got a fancy red paper, and this is the circle that's going to fit right in the lid, and we're going to do more circles of varying sizes, but this is the first circle we're going to need. Alright, so there you can see my circle, and now I am ready to cut it out. So I'm just going to get my small scissors, and I'm going to cut it. So there, now I have my circle cut out, and I'm going to turn it back to the proper side so that you won't see any pencil marks if I haven't cut exactly perfect. So it fits right inside of our can lid. So next I'm going to get my printout of my family photos. I've done 6 just in case I make a mistake. I always like to be prepared for mistakes because they do happen. And I'm just going to cut one out. There's my snippy scissors. So I've measured my photo to be 2¼ inches in diameter. So if you're using the same size lid that I am, you'll probably want to make it around that size, just so that everything fits properly. So there you go. 2¼ inch diameter. You don't need to have your photo in a circle already. If you have a square photo, you can just use your compass to draw a circle over the photo and then cut around the circle you've drawn on the photo. I've done it this way just to make it easier. So now we're going to take our second colored paper and we're going to cut a circle that's just slightly larger than the photo you're using. So I want mine to be about 1/8 inch larger, so that means I need to measure it 1/4 inch in diameter larger to make that 1/8 inch border all the way around. So again, just measuring half of 2½ inches. And now I'm going to draw my circle. So there's my second circle. And again, I'm going to take my scissors and snip, snip, snip. And there's my second circle. So now we're going to lay out all of our pieces that we've got so far. And as you can see, they go up in size. So I'm going to take the two smallest circles, which is the photo, and then one of your accent colored papers. And we're just going to get our glue stick, and we're going to apply glue to the back of the photo. When you're gluing, glue from the center outwards. It just makes sure that you're not going to get as many air pockets, and the glue just goes on much more smoothly. And then you're going to center your photo as best you can. And then you're just going to firmly press front and back just to make sure that it's going to stick really, really well. And so as you can see, I measured my circle to be overall 1/4 inch in diameter bigger than the photo, and then that creates that small 1/8 inch border all the way around. So I'm just going to trim my circle up a little bit because it looks like there's some spots that could be more even, and if yours is like that, then at this point you can do the same thing. You just want it to be as neat as possible. So obviously that makes the decoration just look much better. So now we're going to take our next circle and we're going to glue the piece we just finished in the center of that circle. So now we're just going to get our glue surface. I want to get glue on our cutting mat or a countertop or what have you. And again, gluing from the center out. And then place your photo as best you can again in the center of that. You want to make everything look as centered and as even as possible. And then just press down again, making sure everything is sticking really, really well. Now, we could just do this decoration with just papers. You don't necessarily need a can lid, and you'll see that that is the case, but the can lid just makes it a much more sturdy decoration that won't get ruined when it's put into boxes, and also it just adds a little bit of weight to your decoration so that it hangs nicely on a Christmas tree, and as well it just finishes the decoration. It makes it look much more neat and much more refined. And as you can see, now that we've got that, it fits nicely within our can lid. So the next step is going to be securing that circle just inside the lid. So for this one we're going to use our hot glue gun, since our hot glue gun is going to make a better adhesion between the metal and the paper. So we're just going to apply a strip of hot glue all the way around. Oh, and I guess a little circle in the middle, so it's going to stick really well. So make sure you do this really quickly so that your glue doesn't dry too much on you. And then just press it down. Be careful, because obviously you're using hot glue, so it can get pretty hot, as you know if you've used hot glue in the past. Okay, so there we go. That's on there, and now on to the next step, which is just embellishing it a little bit. We're just going to set our lid aside for now. So we're going to start with these little tags. I've got 3 different colors here, green, red, and turquoise, but I'm going to use the red. Now you can find these on Google by just doing an image search for curly tags or what have you, and I think you can probably get something similar to these in scrapbooking tags. I've printed mine out off the computer, and then I've just gone over them to make the lines brighter and more vibrant. So then we're just going to cut them out, and we're not going to cut all the way to the outline. We're going to leave a small bit of white paper all the way around the tag, but you want to follow the general shape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the tag to a sturdier piece of cardstock just to add a little bit more sturdiness to it. So I'm just going to glue it and then stick it onto the cardstock and then cut the rest out from there. You can print them directly on the cardstock if you choose, but some printers, depending on what kind of printer you have, it won't handle the cardstock that well. So in this case, you'll just print it on a normal sheet of inkjet paper, and then do as I'm doing, gluing it on the cardstock and then cutting around it. Sorry, you can't even see what I'm doing here. I just get a little carried away sometimes, but what I'm doing is just, now you're starting to see, I'm cutting around the border but leaving a small bit of white. And you want to do this as neatly as possible, as I said with everything else, just so that it looks nice and quality and neat. So for the next step, you're going to write your message on your tag. In this case, what I'm writing is in small block letters, wishing you a, and then I'm going to write in a more scriptive, heavier, bold font, Merry Christmas. So it's going to say, wishing you a Merry Christmas, and underneath that is where you'll sign the names of your family who appear in your photo. And I'm just doing this freehand, but if you feel your writing is not neat enough, if you'd rather, you can just print the whole thing out on the computer, and then you don't have to worry about trying to write your message and get it perfect. But I like doing handwritten text, so that's what I'm going to do, and then I can just choose how thick and how bold I want my writing to be for each line. So now that I've got my message all written in pencil, I'm going to go over them with my pigment liners, illustration pens, whatever you have. And I'm using a 0.3 millimeter thickness. I'm just going to line each line with the 0.3 millimeter, and then once I finish, I'll decide which lines I want to go over again with a thicker liner. So now I've got all of my lines written. I'm going to make sure that the ink is completely dry, and then I'm going to get my eraser. I'm going to erase any visible pencil lines. Now once I'm done erasing those pencil lines, I'm going to go over the Merry Christmas and make that much more bold and much more predominant. It adds a little bit of variation between the lines of text. So now I've got my tag finished. I'm just going to need to do one more thing before we glue the tag on. So I'm just going to cut a skinny strip of paper. It's going to be about 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch wide. And this is just going to be to add a little extra embellishment and add a little extra something to the ornament. So it's going to look sort of like a ribbon attaching the message onto the ornament. So then I'm just going to add some glue to the center of it. And then I'm going to place the tag in the center of that paper, and then make sure it's stuck on there really good, and make sure that it's perfectly centered. So now we need to position this little piece toward the bottom, not butting up against the rim of the lid. You want a little bit of space. Make sure that it's centered on your photo, and then we're just going to eyeball and cut a curved edge along each side of the skinny paper strip so that it's going to fit in there nice and snug and nice and neatly. So now that I've got that cut, and as you can see it fits in there with the curve of the lid, I am going to fix it in place with some hot glue. And the hot glue is going to allow it to be just a little bit raised so that it's not stuck directly flat against the rest of the paper. It just adds a little bit of dimension to the ornament and makes it look nice. So there we go. Make sure that it's perfectly centered on your photo. And there you go. Now for the next step. We're going to need some Christmas ribbon. And I'm using some gold ribbon, some shiny gold ribbon for mine. I'm using wired ribbon, and I think, in my opinion, it really helps with this part because once you bend the ribbon in place, it stays in that position. You don't have to worry about trying to wrestle with the ribbon while you're trying to get this ribbon in place. So just fold the end of your ribbon under so that you're not going to see that cut edge. Then glue it onto itself. Find this top, center, or wherever you'd like to start. I'm starting at the top. I think that's probably the best position, and I'm just gluing it so that the ribbon sticks up a little bit behind the lid, or what will be behind the lid. So from there, you're going to follow the edge of your lid, add some glue to a second place, and tack that ribbon in place. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make a tiny little fold so that you're pleating your ribbon just a small bit, and then you're going to add some hot glue underneath that, and you're going to fix that ribbon in place. Be careful, the glue is pretty hot and you don't want to burn yourself. So now we want to make another little pleat. Just make sure you glue your ribbon down as you go so that it's going to curve around your lid. Now make that next little pleat the same distance away as you did your first one. And then use your hot glue to tack that one in place as well. Just hold it for a few seconds till the glue starts to cool, and then you know it'll be in place. And then, so as you can see the effect that I'm going for is just a sort of little ruffle to complete the look of this ornament and just make it look festive and fancy. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of this all the way around, just making sure to keep with the curve of the lid and making sure that my folds or my pleats are the same distance apart. Alright, so I've got my ribbon glued all the way around, and as you can see, it's creating a nice little ruffle to embellish the front of the ornament and just finishes it up real nicely. Now I just need to make it look nice and neat so you can't see the edge of it. So I'm just going to fold it over itself and still try to create that little ruffle. And then I'm just going to glue that in place first. Make sure I'm following the rounded edge that I've been following all the way. So I'm just going to cut the ribbon with enough ribbon left to fold it down. So just snip it. And there we go, snip. And I just want to show you here what we're doing from the front and how it's going to look. So you just want to fold it down so that you can't really see where it starts and where it ends. So kind of just at a 90-degree fold, and then just glue it onto itself. And then from there you're just going to take the little tail that you're left over with and glue that down really good, so you don't have any little pieces of ribbon sticking out. And it finishes it up quite nicely. So there you go. So now we have to create a way to hang this on the tree. So I'm going to use a ribbon, but I'm going to use a skinnier ribbon than what I used to go around the edge. But I'm going to try to keep it obviously gold so that it goes with the rest of my decorations. So you're just going to take the end, and this is also a wired ribbon, which helps again because, as I said, when you bend it, it stays in place. So just glue the two ends together so that you're going to create a loop. And then we're just going to glue that on the back. And then you just need to glue that with your hot glue gun. And here I'm just figuring out where center is, centering it with the center of the tag, and then just lightly attaching it. And then I'll turn it over and very carefully, because the glue is hot, stick it on. And then from there, I'm going to glue all the way up the ruffled edge so that when you hang it on the tree, the weight of it doesn't try to flop forward. This will make sure that it hangs nice and straight. And again, be careful. Ooh, hot. So that's pretty much what the decoration looks like. You're pretty much finished the decorating part. Now there is one other part that I'm going to do just to make the back look a little bit nicer. So this next step, you don't have to do it. You can skip it if you want, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a circle in the middle first of all to build up the center in the back, and then I'm going to add another circle to make it look a little bit more finished. You can stop right here, your decoration is done, and it looks perfectly fine. It's not often that you're going to see the back, but I just like to make things look really neat and finished, and I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I'm going to measure the circle in the center, and then I'm going to adjust my compass again to make a circle that's going to fit right in there. You can use any kind of decorative paper you like, but I'm just going to use plain white cardstock. And so I'm just going to speed right through this next part, since if you didn't already know how to operate a compass before I started, you sure do now, so I don't think you need any further direction on that, so I'm just going to fast forward right through this. Alright, so now I've got my circle cut, and as you can see, it fits right in the center, perfectly within the ribbon. It's not overlapping at all, and all the circle is going to do is build up that back part that doesn't have anything in it. So I'm just going to glue that on with some hot glue. And pop it right into the center, and then just press down on it to make sure it's good and stuck. And again, from here, you can be done. You can be finished. That finishes it up quite nicely. But depending on how neatly you did your ribbon, you can add a second circle on top of this just to cover the edge of where you might have a lot of glue, or maybe your ribbon isn't quite neat and quite so finished looking. So yeah, I'm going to do another circle that's just slightly bigger than that so that it covers all the edges. Alright, so once again we have another circle cut, and I'm just going to show you. So it just overlaps that edge of that ribbon to finish everything up so that if your edges aren't neat, you won't see it. So my circle is not quite as perfect as I would like it to be, so I'm just going to trim those edges. There we go. Ah, that's better. And then from there, again, I'm just going to hot glue it. And I'm just going to start with a small part of it at first, just to get it stuck on there, because I don't want my glue to start to cool before I get it down and centered. So just start with a small section, and then once it's on there you can continue to add glue around the circle and then just press it down. And there we go. Now we've got a finished back, and it looks much nicer and much neater, which I'm a big fan of. And then from here, since I used white on the back, it makes a nice blank spot where you can add an extra message to whoever you're sending it to, but for me, I would at least add the date. And so there we go. We're all finished, and you've got another beautiful ornament doubling as a Christmas card. Awesome! Alright everyone, that's it, and thanks for watching my video. I hope you really liked it, and I hope you make your own Christmas card / Christmas ornaments to mail to your friends and loved ones. I'm sure they'll love them. If you guys like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you can keep up to date with when I'm posting all of my videos. You don't want to miss those because I'm going to have some great ones coming up. So subscribe to my channel. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter, and I'll leave all that information and all the links in the description of this video below. You can also put any comments or questions or anything like that you guys might have down below, and I'll answer as many as I possibly can. I love to get your questions and comments, so please feel free to do that. And that's it for now. Hope you have a great day. Bye!